This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, Bev's Video Kingdom?
I'm sorry. That made me laugh.
What's so funny?
It's like a 3-second pause. It just made me laugh.
And then up into the mic. Hot.
It was like a half a second pause.
Sorry.
Dipshits. This is Bev's Video Kingdom. It's episode 101.
101.
Coming hot off last week's 100th. We went long. We went deep.
Long and hard.
Something About Mary made us hang out for about 2.5 hours. It was great. This is Nate. I returned after a bit of a spyiatus. Was off spying.
Mm-hmm. I'm Scotch. I'm still sitting here.
I'm Zach. Never left.
I'm Brad, and I'm glad Nate's back.
And
Nick.
We brought Nick back. We roped Nick back in for at least a couple of episodes. A little return for the 100th and the 101st. And we're drafting. On the back end of Something About Mary, a movie chock full of moments that would cause me to be embarrassed if I were those characters. We're going to draft the most embarrassing movie moments.
And I think pretty much the biggest moment that we can all agree on, and that is the dick in the zipper. And that's what kind of inspired this whole thing was, what are we going to draft about? And that just kind of, hey, I mean, there's one of the most horrible things that ever happened in a movie.
So
I thought it was Brett Favre's acting.
And that could be a good draft. Go for it.
So we want to clarify that it's not like so if you look up like lists online, a lot of them are like what I would call like empathetic or vicarious embarrassment. So
right.
It's hard for you feel cringy watching it, but the character in the movie is not embarrassed.
Right.
We're drafting moments where the character is embarrassed or should be embarrassed in the movie, not.
Oh wow! Did you have this whole conversation with yourself?
Yeah,
that's what I took from it.
I didn't. Yeah,
because I was thinking like most embarrassed means like, oh my god, I'm embarrassed watching this person do this.
I thought it could be.
I think that counts, but I agree with what Nate's saying. Like when somebody's dancing silly, I don't think that's an embarrassing moment.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
It's not. Like there are lots of moments where you're like, this is like
cringy,
right, to watch, but like the character in the movie, in the context of the movie, isn't themselves embarrassed.
Right.
Okay, so it's like if I put myself in that shoes, like I'm like, God damn, I'm going to be embarrassed.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think we all agree on that.
Okay, there we go. I just want to make sure.
Right, exactly what I just said. Okay,
and so,
perfect.
And so I brought this up at the end of last week. And so what's nice about this draft episode is we do have Nick back in the house. And I thought, well, hey, he's going to join us. Let's have the 4 original Bev's members draft. And Scotch Beck, who started out as a judge, I'm going to judge them. So that's what we're doing tonight.
Because you're pretty much only good at judging. I mean, that's pretty
right.
much your skill set.
I tried. I dabbled in a few drafts. Didn't really do that great, but I guess we'll get into some Bevermetrics and we'll see how good I did. I don't know.
It is about time to check in, Brad, on some Bevermetrics. So you've got your fancy spreadsheet there. What do you got for us?
I do. We had a season of drafting. So if you look at the 2022 year, we had 30 draft episodes. And I'm going to admit right now that I spent a good 5 minutes trying to figure out how the fuck did we have 30 drafts when there's only 52 weeks in a year, and we were doing movies and drafts separate weeks. I was confused. I went back. I counted the Tuesdays. I was like, maybe we started on a Tuesday, and then by the time that means there was 30 Tuesdays instead of instead of 26. Yeah, a leap year or something. I was losing my mind, and then I realized that for the first 3 months of 2022, we were doing Tuesday movie drafts, Tuesday movie episodes, Thursday draft episodes. That's what got me to realize that, that's how we had 30, because we were doing one a week for a while. So it really boggled my mind for a second. But anyway, I did do some analysis. I broke it down in a lot of different factors. One we've talked about before. We had a little mid-season. We were talking about some of the stats. And I was looking at our amount of wins. I was looking at the draft to win ratio. So how often do you win a draft as much as you've drafted? And then how much do you lose? You get last place as much as you've drafted. But I also looked at some other little statistics here that we're going to get to first. But first, let's just start with the basics. So we had 30 drafts. And of those 30 drafts, I was the only one to compete in all 30 drafts. And in those 30 drafts, I took 8 wins.
Okay.
I do have the most wins for the year for 2022.
Fancy.
I don't know.
Funny that you keep the stats.
You have the most wins?
I have the most wins.
I don't remember him winning that.
I don't
out
believe
of 30 drafts.
This doesn't check out at all.
All right, let me count those ones again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, mine were spaced out. And the mid-season, I was shit.
That's what I remember.
Early season, I had 4 wins in the first, 8 weeks.
That's right.
And then the late season, I had a couple wins. I snuck a couple in here and there. But so my draft to win ratio, 27%.
So when you were in, you won
27% of the drafts I participated in, I won. Which, if you have 4 people in draft, that's just barely above what average should be.
Probably better than mine.
Slightly better than drawn out of the
My draft to loss, and this is the one thing I guess I could be proud of. My draft to loss ratio is 16%. So getting last is not my forte. I'm usually in the second to third ratio, like somewhere in there. So that's me. I'm not going to say I'm great because we're going to get some amazing.
Do we have any statistics at all that aren't about you, or is it just this?
I just wanted to start. I wanted to start with me because mine are just kind of like, okay, that's it's kind of on its island. Now we get into the fun ones. Okay. All right, so Nate, 26 drafts, 7 wins. You have a draft to win ratio, and I feel like that math.
Brad's reaching for his calculator.
Edit.
So Nate, your draft to win ratio, 7 wins, 26 drafts, 27%, exactly tied with me. You would think 8 out of 30 and 7 out of 26. There's some rounding involved. 26.6 and 26.9 both equal out to 27%. So
okay.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
So just saying. Okay. Your draft to loss ratio, 26%.
Yeah, I lose about the amount of times.
So if you look at that, you're essentially like you're going to get first, second, third, or fourth, like you're 25% of the time. That's what it's kind of looking like. All right, now Zach.
Yes, Brad.
It is fun to talk about Zach. We've got. Hey, 29 drafts. You were participating. You only missed 1 draft. 5 wins out of 29 drafts.
How many lasts did I get?
Look at that. I mean, Nate had 7 wins. I had 8 wins. So you're right there with the wins. You're not that far.
Fuck you guys.
Draft to win ratio of 17%.
Okay.
Draft to loss ratio.
All right. Okay.
What's your guess?
I think it's probably 20, 30, 40% I get last place.
44%.
Oh,
I thought I was guessing high.
almost half the time.
So if I'm in the draft, it's a coin flip whether I'm getting last
or not last.
Shit.
All right. So, Nick, you know what? You start off here with it was 1, 2, 3, 4.
I started.
He had some wins at the beginning.
And you participated 12 drafts.
And he's the only owner of a preseason championship belt.
First season championship.
Preseason.
But who was really counting?
Yeah. Exactly. So we're talking about our first season right now. Our first season, you participated in 12 drafts. You have 4 wins. That's a draft to win ratio of 33%. That is outstanding.
Thank you.
And that draft to loss ratio, 16%.
So
That is pretty damn solid.
wow.
I think it's fun when like
He's top three.
rookies come up and like hit 1 for 3, and then they go back down to the minors, and it's like, no, they're 330. They're 30.
It's more like a Barry Sanders situation. You're in the league for a very short amount of time, just lightning in a bottle, and you're out.
Now, before I get to Scotch, I do want to say that there were two other. We only had 2 people participate in drafts outside of this 5 that are here. 2 people. We had Jake from the Real Drunks, also the manager of the Last Call Tap Room, and we had Josh from the Hoisting Heavies podcast. They each drafted. Each of them on their solo drafts got 3rd place. So neither of them got last.
They both beat Zach.
Great
One
job,
beat
guys.
Zach and one. No. They beat me.
Yeah.
Josh beat me. So
That's right.
It wasn't both Zach.
Ha ha.
Yeah.
Dickhead.
All right. Now Scotch Beck. And he's he's glowing over here. I can see it.
I just
feel
cleaned the
it.
pipes.
I can feel it. So Scotch has participated in 11 drafts. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask, how many wins do you think Scotch Beck has
my God.
out of 11 drafts?
8.
Shut
he
up.
doesn't have
7?
I think he has 6.
Scotch Beck has won 6 out of 11 drafts that he's participated in. His draft to win
gross.
ratio is a whopping 54%.
So can I point out that he is the first judge, and then he refines the judging, sets the stage for everyone who judges, and then he comes on and he wins by the correct numbers that he set. That's shocking. That's surprising.
6 wins.
I'm surprised.
Rigged.
So 5 wins for Zach, 4 wins for Nick in 12 drafts, 5 wins for Zach in 29 drafts, 6 wins for Scotch in 11 drafts, 7 out of 26 for Nate, 8 out of 30 for me.
So wait, so Nick has 5 too?
Nick has 4 wins.
4.
Damn, Nick, you suck, bro.
Damn it. You said 4?
You have way more
Way
wins
more wins than you, dog.
than Nick does. 100%.
Attempts don't count. Wins count, dog.
Whatever.
Now there was a couple little things that somebody wanted to ask. And I dug into this. It took me a little while, but it was the winning draft position. People want to know where do people get their wins from. So I broke it down into three-person drafts. We've done 10 3-person drafts, and we've done 20 4-person drafts. So in 3-person drafts, and this is pretty interesting, 3-person drafts, first pick out of a 3-person draft has won 6 times.
Out of how many drafts?
10.
10.
You weren't listening. That's all right.
You're throwing a lot of numbers at me,
10.
bro.
He just
Second pick has won 4 times,
Okay.
which means that if you have the 3rd pick in a 3-person draft,
You ain't
has
winning shit.
never won so far in the BVK podcast.
Okay.
I think that just fucking votes for we need to eliminate 3-person drafts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Zach has never gotten picked third in any of those.
Actually, I picked 3rd a lot, and that's
All
why.
right. Now, on 4-person drafts, we've had 20 of those. Which pick do you think has won the most?
4th.
That's what I was gonna say, Nikki.
Raparito. Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'll just say first, just to be
Yeah,
different.
I think first too.
4th.
All right. Nate's just drinking. So,
I'm not playing your games.
all right. First pick has won 7 drafts out of 20.
Okay.
Second pick has won 7 drafts out of 20.
Okay.
Okay, that's 14.
4th pick has won 4 drafts out of 20. 3rd pick has only won 2.
So
out of
3rd
20
pick, no
drafts.
matter what, is fucked off.
3rd pick is a shitty pick to have. Whether it's a 3-person draft or a 4-person draft.
Okay.
That is a shitty pick.
So
now,
first or second are the two.
So you actually, do you have who drafted in position?
I
too
didn't.
deep, bro.
I did kind of break that down, but I didn't go far. But here's what I do have. I have
Zach
a couple
needs that.
for Nate, Scotch,
lot
and
of
Zach.
third
I have some interesting little stats. So, Nate, 4 of your 7 wins were with the first pick.
That's because I make good use of it.
Yeah,
But Brad, now I'm questioning, like, am I a shitty drafter or do I just have 3rd pick all the time?
That's what I'm saying. Zach needs to know. That's why I said that.
Zach, here's the interesting thing. Zach,
Or is 3rd pick really bad, or is just Zach in it all the time?
Zach, you have never won with the first or the last pick. You win from the middle.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. And I will say this, and again,
Like I got these claws. I don't know what to fucking do with them.
Scotch. I hate to say this. He participated in 11 drafts, but he's the only person who has the 4-person draft superfecta.
Oh, he's one from the first,
Every
second, third,
position?
fourth?
You have won from first, second, third, and fourth position in a 4-person draft, and only fucking 11 drafts.
The shit's too easy. That's all it comes to it. So I'm gonna go back to judging.
God
you guys can fuck.
Sounds rigged to me. I mean, if I'm reading the tea leaves here, this can't be the stats don't line up.
There's a lot of hate.
There's
coming from my right
irregularities.
Which is why exactly we're gonna say, Scotch, get your ass over in your other house right now because
leave the cantina.
Go to your other
immediately.
house.
we're gonna draft right now, and we need your ass out of here because
right.
God damn it, you fucking fuck up all the stats.
Hey, it's I'd like to thank you guys for having me here and for just not being good at drafting.
Do you have any predictions for 2023?
Thanks, Zach. For not being
Any
good at
predictions for
drafting.
2023?
First draft.
As far as the drafts go, or
Yeah, as far as your draft, do you think you're gonna get to
because I'm gonna
Because I'm pretty sure that I'm leading 2023 right now in the clubhouse. I have one win.
If I win,
nobody
tonight,
has any.
I'm
No, you have a
officially
speed draft that
tying
doesn't count.
Speed draft counts.
Zach in wins.
I thought we said it counts for 2 wins.
I like the idea.
Having
does count for 2 wins.
participated in half
Yeah, Nick,
of the drafts, I will be tying you if I win tonight.
You had half of the ones I did?
need half the participation.
So you're a pussy. That's all that counts for.
If you do get your fifth, Nick, if you get your 5th win tonight, you are 5 wins on 13 drafts, and he is 5 wins on 29 drafts. So
Same.
if you want to,
If Nick wins, if Nick wins tonight,
what are you doing?
fucking fuck him up.
remember back
Beat
in
him
the-
up and leave him in the orchard.
Remember how many times like Zach would say, "I swear to God, if Brad beats me tonight, I'm quitting the pod."
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, why is it me?
He said that to about everybody.
Jesus.
Can we make a soundbite of Zach saying that at some point? And I can
What?
push
Saying
that
I'm going to
button?
quit?
I swear to God, if Brad fucking wins tonight, I swear to God.
Denise, if Nick doesn't make it home tonight, just
You know what happens.
It's,
You know
he's
what
probably in an
happened.
orchard. Just go out to the orchard. He's probably there somewhere.
We're going to wrestle.
So I'm gonna go hang out in my house. You guys draft.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So I think now that we've sent Scotch Beck to the other house, we might need a draft order.
Yeah. So, we've got the originals here, and our draft was, our podcast was semi based off of the Rewatchables podcast. That's on the Ringer Network. Bill Simmons and co. Doing movie podcasts, and that's kind of what we started off with. So, you know what? I decided I put in applications for all of us to the Ringer.
Ooh.
Specifically to work on the Rewatchables pod. And I said, I just want you guys to put us in order of hireability. Like, who's most hireable? And so they sent back.
That's a weird word. Horrible.
Hireability is, I spelled it wrong, and then it actually spell checked it to the correct definition. It's just hire ability, and you fucking squish those together.
Really? With the E and everything, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have been her ability.
It kind of looks like hillbilly, but hireability. Here we go. All right. So the first one they said, you know what? Our 4th candidate, that's Nate. Says you might have been first, but they couldn't get a hold of you, because you were on your like fucking secret spy missions and shit.
So wait, just to be clear here,
He's drafting.
I'm drafting 4th or first.
4th. I said you're 4th on their list.
But you sometimes will switch that shit around.
You got to pay attention. I know you weren't paying attention, so I got your attention now, don't I? So they also said though that they did say there's no way you could be on the Rewatchables because you and Bill's voices are like 5 octaves away from each other, and it just would not sound great.
Wouldn't work
if you guys were on the pod together.
But you guys could start a folk trio.
Yeah.
And then just do some great harmonies.
That might work. I don't know how much of a singing voice Bill Simmons has, but we'll see. All right, so the third one, they're the person the person we'd hire third. So yeah, Nick, you're the third choice because they're hesitant to hire you because they mainly realize that you're going to be busy for the next few summers and falls, continuing to win state championships and shit like that. So they were concerned about your availability. So
They're right about that.
third choice.
Fuckers.
Your greatest ability is your availability. may or may not have said that in an interview.
Strength, really?
I was second on their list, and they said because they loved my editing skills, and Bill Simmons in particular, he really appreciated the way that I take all my mistakes out of the pod but leave everybody else's in. He's like, he could definitely use somebody on his pod like that. So and I think that I could help Bill sound a little bit smarter sometimes. And then finally, in first, they said, we want Zach. They loved your sense of humor, and they suggested that if you could reduce your poop jokes, if you could reduce your poop jokes by like 68%, 68%, they said that you'd be a great fit for the pod.
Poop mouth.
But
I'll take it down.
You.
I'll take my poop jokes down 69%. How about that?
Shit. Then
Poop and 69 jokes.
You are a lock on the Rewatchables pod.
I bet we're about to reduce the strength of the number one position here. I'm just throwing
Maybe the second position too.
Throwing that shade.
So our draft order is Zach is first pick. I am second pick. Nick is in what we now know as the danger
black
pick.
hole of the
Third pick, Nick. And then fourth is Nate.
I'll take that Raparito.
So I think this is an easy one, and I don't think it's an easy one at the same time because there's really the issue I have with it is.
Can you guys just listen to him right now? It's beautiful.
I want to.
It's just music to my ears.
Well, I know what movie I want to pick from, but I don't know what scene I want to pick from that movie. That's the issue.
Exactly.
You
why
know what I
it's
mean?
music to my ears. Because everything is riding on what scene you pick.
So I think the ultimate embarrassment, the ultimate embarrassing moment. Not only is this embarrassing for the young man, it's embarrassing in so many levels because it's embarrassing to the young lady involved. It's embarrassing to all of the people watching it on live webcams. It's embarrassing to Blink-182 and their monkey. It's embarrassing to the entire school watches this guy have the worst moment of his entire life, and that is Jim in American Pie just coming in his pants by just touching the beautiful foreign exchange student Nadia.
Shannon Elizabeth.
And man, dude, I mean, that is hilarious and just the most cringy, embarrassing, just terrible. I mean, there's nothing worse. Everyone sees it, right? I mean, this is the very beginning of streaming webcam shit. I don't even think it was possible to actually do that back when this movie came out.
This was like sci-fi.
Yeah, exactly. it really did make a whole lot of sense.
Yes, exactly.
They're running through like college net servers and whatever shit like that.
But just the fact, I mean, there's early ejaculation scenes in a lot of movies, but this one being broadcasted to every single person that he knows is just the part that makes it absolutely brutal.
Yep.
I'll take that. That's a great number one pick.
There's two I want to go with.
But you're gonna wait till your fourth pick.
Oh, my fourth pick.
That's classic. Welcome back to the
Nate's
pod.
back.
Welcome back to
No
the
idea what
goddamn-
turn he is.
Am I not second?
That was
Remember, you were fourth because they thought your voice was too low for the rewatch.
your voice is too deep for rewatch.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in, and oh man, I know there's one that's not coming back to me. Oh Jesus,
It's not coming back.
because that kind of set a standard here of like saying like, oh, you know what? It's like the visual embarrassment of it. There's a lot of people involved.
Visibility.
But I don't give a fuck. I got to go back to just the one scene that I don't care if it's just the fact that it makes me cringe. It makes everybody cringe. You just are rooting so hard against. Every time I watch this movie, just don't fucking dial the number. Do not hit fucking redial. And that is... Mikey keeps hitting redial in Swingers, and he tries. At first, it starts off so innocent. The number gets cut off. Okay, you just call back and you just drop your number. You leave it at that. It's kind of cringe, whatever. But then it goes further and further until finally he's breaking up with her.
He double, triple, quadruples down.
It just goes worse than you could ever imagine. It goes worse. Like you're like, oh, that's bad. And you're like, ooh, that's kind of bad. And then it just goes so much further than you can even imagine. Mikey in Swingers redialing the girl, I think it's 7 times. And then finally she picks up and he immediately tries to be like, hey. And then she immediately says, don't ever call me again. And you're just like, oh, this poor dude.
I think that's a good pick, but that's a reach.
I think that's early, but it's a terribly,
yeah,
but
it's embarrassing.
It's early.
I was going to take it, Brad, if you did.
That's bananas. Oh God!
All right.
ANANAS.
So wait, you were gonna take that with your first pick?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I feel you. I think you're right.
I
makes
made
me
my.
feel
I
so
think
confident.
I think
in my
Zach,
list right now.
Zach and Nate, I think are off base because I think that's got to be in the top 3 for sure.
That's silly.
The
But-
only thing that'll save you there is Scott's fucking nostalgia for that movie. Go ahead.
Oh, Scotch feels that movie.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing
Oh, you motherfucker!
the band
It's a good
shirt.
pick. That's a good pick.
You motherfucker!
What the hell? How'd you get the zipper all the way to the top? I'm going, there's something about Mary. Zipper.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And on a rewatch, you know it's coming, and it's so funny. And his face when he does it.
And everyone's faces, everyone's
it's
reaction.
so funny. Scream.
And it's like for me,
And you're just like, don't do it.
and if you put yourself in those shoes, like for me, the reason it serves doubly because it's painful to watch, but it's also like it's your total worst nightmare. Like if you were him,
Yes.
it's like, in fact, the perfect like example is that he's like, "Would you shit yourself?" And he's like, "I wish." Like, and you think like that's like the worst thing. Nope, that's not the
And he
worst thing.
starts
that happened.
untucking his shirt like, I can like cover it up. Take care of
I
it.
would just go. I'm just gonna go. And the idea that like even if you just like the initial part, like just like seeing like your prom date with her mom like across and like
You're
shit.
horrified.
You're like, oh God, you're gonna feel horrified at that point. And then just to add to that, I mean, I guess it kind of makes her forget about the whole you were peeping Tom type.
Yeah.
There's
I don't
that.
know. Tough way. Nate, you now have the Reacherito. 4th pick.
God. Okay. Well, that made it a little easier for me. So I gotta go with the 40-year-old version Bags of Sand for my next pick.
Just when he's describing boobs.
He's talking about boobs.
You've never touched a boob, have you?
He's like bags of sand. Like, wait, bags of sand? Have you never? Hold up. And then like I like it in the sense that like it's cringy, but you can see that he's also really embarrassed. And then like to hammer it home, he rides his bike home and he's just chastising himself.
Yelling at himself.
And then he gets home, he like lays down in bed, he tells himself, it's going to be fine. It's totally going to be fine. He wakes up. This is terrible. This is not good. And it's like the whole process of it for me is not only that the thing is embarrassing and that he's clearly embarrassed in the moment, but like, I remember embarrassing moments where you're like, you try to talk yourself out of the fact that it wasn't that bad. And then you wake up the next morning and you're like, it was that bad. Like, so for me, it's just like the whole thing front to back is
Like
a
when
perfect example.
Drunkenly yelling to your friend in a restaurant super loud, telling the waitress not to trip over their extremely large dick. And then you wake up, you go to bed and you're like, that wasn't that bad. And you wake up the next morning, your wife is like, do you remember yelling across the restaurant last night? You fucking drunk asshole.
That might have happened.
I'm not saying
to
Nate
me.
did that.
I'm very confused here. The waitress had a very big dick.
No.
No.
My friend at the table, I was just,
Don't trip on your friend's big dick.
yeah, it was ridiculous.
Oh,
I
man.
may have called the waitress Ariana Grande at some point for some reason.
Hey,
And she was like, is that what I look like? I was like, yeah. And I woke up the next morning just fucking hating myself. I was like, what did I do?
never see him again.
All right. Damn it. I hate to do this because I feel like it's not the move, but it is the move. I'm going to go ahead and take Shitbrick from American Pie.
God, that is not where I
What's when
He gives them X-Lax and then he goes into the girls' bathroom and then a bunch of girls go in. Like, so he's a high school guy. He's in the bathroom and he just unleashes like so it's essentially the Dumb and Dumber scene, except there's a bunch of his like female peers out like listening to this, and then he walks out of the bathroom and everybody's there.
So my only problem with that is I think it's Shitbreak. I think his name's Shitbreak.
No, it's shit
Brick.
I'm pretty sure it's shit break because he has to take shit breaks all the time because he can't poop at school, so he has to leave on a shit break.
I think they call him shit brick.
I'm almost positive it's shit brick.
Really?
We're gonna look this up.
Oh, this is gonna be one of those moments where it's like,
Look
what
at the
they're
big
actually
brain
saying.
on-
Yeah, Brett
Yeah.
versus Brad. Exactly. Everybody always thinks it's Brad, but it's Brett. Is it really shit break?
Dude, it says so. Look, if you go to Urban Dictionary, it says shitbreak. From the movie American Pie, the Paul Finch character is called shitbreak by his friends. And then it says right here, Twitter, the question: in American Pie, is it shitbreak or shit brick? I have a bet. And then this guy says it's 100% shitbreak. I don't know. This isn't totally confirming, but shitbrick or shitbreak poll. There's a freaking poll right here on this website we can go to.
Well, I mean, we need to go to the script here, right?
Shitbreak.
You got to go to the American Pie script.
You can see the script right here from IMDb. Hey Kev, you seen Shitbreak lately? Why? What did you do to him? Me, nothing. I'm the one who kicked his ass. Blah blah blah. But they call him Shitbreak. It sounds like Shitbrick because fucking Stifler's fucking accent is weird, and I thought it was Shitbrick for years until I realized it was Shitbreak because he always takes shit breaks because he can't shit at school.
Put shitbrick down.
I believe we have a script of that. So
We do somewhere.
Look it up.
I mean, I
Look it up, bro. Look it up.
I think I have it here. But, all right. Well, my pick is the same either way. So let's move along.
It's a good pick.
I couldn't. There are others.
I would have gone with a different pick from American Pie, even from that one.
I thought
There's
about.
one other one. That
I know the
absolutely
other one,
just
but
fucking killer.
I don't know. I feel like this one adds some diversity.
all right, Nick, third pick, Nick.
All right. Going back to a Ben Stiller with Robbie De Niro.
Okay.
It was a big deal when it came out, and it was hilarious. And I think it left audiences friggin'. I mean, you were laughing out loud through this movie in the different parts. And the dinner scene in Meet the Parents was extremely embarrassing and very awkward.
Do I have nipples, fucker?
Talking about milking the
Cats and
the
rats
cats
and
and just the
you
motion.
can milk anything with nipples. Can you milk me?
And the whole, if you're talking about the scene, then you have the cork, knocking over the ashes and the cat pissing in the ashes.
Oh, dude.
When it came out, yeah, it's aged and we're beyond it now. But when it came out, it was extremely awkward and embarrassing. And it's pretty high up in my book. So
Yeah, keep explaining why it's not a bad pick. I like that.
My turn?
Are you?
No, you're the first
Brad's turn?
pick, so
Okay.
it is myself.
Oh,
And
third pick, Nick.
wow, let's see. So this is a moment that I think is very relatable in the sense that, people don't like to be shown up at weddings. And sometimes, you include a little alcohol and people might start getting a little fired up. And sometimes, if you're a bridesmaid and you're not the maid of honor, there's going to be a little tension there. And I think ladies sometimes really feel that a little bit more than dudes do. And in bridesmaids, when you're going to have the final speech and you're like, I think I get the final speech, I'm the maid of honor, and the other one gives a great speech after you, and then you got to kind of come back at them. It is such a great
Going
scene.
back after is so ridiculous.
When you got Kristen Wiig and I forgot what the other girl's name is, but they are both absolutely great going back and forth, and then they start trying to one up each other. She's like, I learned this Tibetan phrase, and then Kristen Wiig comes back with like the Spanish that she learned in her high school class, and it goes back and forth, and it gets super uncomfortable. And the next thing you know, they're singing together.
Kristen Wiig is so funny, dude.
And they're grabbing their ears, doing like
So is the
where you
other-
like sing up
other
and
girl.
down.
super funny.
Oh, it's so good. So I'm going bridesmaids, the wedding toast scene.
I will say, and this sort of contradicts the rule of the thing, but I have one of the hardest things for me to watch is toasts because they're so often so bad. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that I don't know that the person's embarrassed, but I cannot watch. I feel like they should be.
That's what I
embarrassed.
kind of feel about that scene. Is that was high up on my list too. I don't think she's as embarrassed as we are for her.
Yeah,
I have
but
some-
she
I've
should
seen
be
some
embarrassed.
toasts.
Oh, she should be.
They're gonna wake up and realize they were married. When she realized she was speaking
Oh, I know.
Spanish,
I
know.
think that's right. Yeah.
because I will say you can always go back to your videos, and I will always stand by this. I witnessed it when I was sitting next to him at my wedding, and I also witnessed it on the video. But this guy to my right, Nate, at my wedding. He gave a great
He's a great
speech.
toaster.
He's great at toast. But I will say that before he started, everybody else just kind of stood up. They had the mic, and this dude like stood up, pushed in his chair, and like got his space, and then goes into his speech. Like he like commanded the audience before he started. It wasn't just like stand up, and like he just kind of like he made sure he's in his right moment. And he gave a hell of a speech.
There's 3 ways you can do a speech, and 2 of them are fucking terrible. One is the over-prepared guy that has like 4 pages of notes and reads directly off of it.
Too much.
The other is the under-prepared guy who has nothing and thinks he's going to wing it, and it's absolute dog shit. And then there's the fucking guy right in the middle who has some notes written down, maybe like 1 card, and knows exactly where he's going and has a beginning, middle, and end. That's the guy that you want to give your speech.
Well, let's just talk about my brother's initial.
Oh my God, I can only imagine.
When the mic was handed to him, he says, "Oh, I'm so hungry. I think I could just eat this mic," and bites on the mic a little bit. And then proceeds to say, sometimes they say like, when you're looking at a girl, you want to look at their mom to see if they're like cute.
Oh no.
And I see Melissa's mom sitting over there, and yeah.
That's what he said.
That's how he started his.
Oh my God.
His speech.
I want to fuck Melissa's mom.
Melissa's mom starts clapping. She's like, yeah. It was great.
All right.
So here we
Zach,
go.
you got the rap.
This is working out spectacularly for me, guys, because I've got 2 that I really like. So we're gonna go, and this one is just the ultimate embarrassing. This is on national television in front of fucking millions of people at the Grammys. Bradley Cooper pisses himself. He's so fucked up on stage while he's trying to play guitar with Lady Gaga, and fucking, oh my God, it is the most embarrassing shit. And he's all fucked up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm fine. He all of a sudden pisses himself. It's so fucking embarrassing and just absolutely cringy and all the things. And his wife's so fucking pissed, and fucking it's her moment, and he ruins it. And God, it's just absolutely brutal. Probably the catalyst for him fucking killing himself, which is just.
Do you think that's the moment he was thinking about when he did it?
I think probably part of it. Part of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just brutal. It's not very funny either. But all right, second one.
Good pick.
I got a good one here, and we're going Paul Rudd, Trying to Make Friends. Fucking the beautiful, what's the blonde girl that freaking is married to Jon Favreau, and I love you, man. She tells him.
I don't know. She's a lookalike of Margot Robbie.
She's Margot Robbie's lookalike. I can't remember her name right now, and that's fucking terrible because she's awesome. And she's like telling Jon Favreau, just invite him over. And fucking he goes over there. He beats them all in poker by fucking. But dude, when they do the drinking contest and he fucking chugs the beer and beats him and then in your face and throws up right in the guy's face, it is the most embarrassing shit. God, it's terrible. It's fucking terrible. He's like just trying to make friends, and God, it's just absolutely brutal.
Much throw up.
Yeah, so much.
That's talked about forever from now on.
What do you mean?
I'm saying that if you do that, like that moment is forever. Like
exactly
the first thing that people talk about when they talk about you. Like there was a guy I used to work out with Outback, and the first party he was ever at, there was somebody like smashed his bottle like to make it like fuzz up. So
and he was like,
"Oh yeah." So he had to go chug it, and when he chugged it, they had actually cracked the top of his bottle, and it cut his lip, and he starts bleeding out of his mouth. And when I was introduced to this guy, they're like, "Oh, that's cut lip." I'm like, who? I'm like, yeah. So they have to tell you the story of what happened
every time you introduce
him. But that's his name. That's how he was introduced to me. I started a year, like this is one of the early parparties. I started a year after they'd opened.
How lazy are these nicknamers?
Like,
we call him Cut Lip.
That dude's Cut
Why?
Lip.
Because he cut his lip one time.
That's who he was. So he's never going to live that down. It's just Cut Lip. That's Cut Lip.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
All right. So I'm up here and... Man, I got to get my list back out because I'm not sure where to go. There's a lot that I thought were going to be gone.
Yeah.
And some of them you wonder how much did like it get out? Like how much did people talk about it? Like, or did this person keep it secret to themselves? But I got to say that when you are imagining
I knew this was
one of the hottest girls you could ever imagine getting out of the pool and just immediately taking off her top, and you're just like, this is the most magical moment. But then when you see what's going on in reality, she is not taking off her top. She's actually trying to go to the restroom, and she opens the door, and you're just jerking it as hard as you can. That's not great. So that's Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Shirking it.
he was definitely shirking it, and we're going to make that word happen. That is now a word. When you shirk it, you know, you're on the shitter, and you are giving it the jerk. That's the old shirk. So he was giving it a good shirk, and that's my pick. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
I like that one. The only thing that makes it a little bit better than, because it's only one person, right? But the only thing that makes it better is it's his crush, and that's just crushing.
That's
you
rough.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Nick's analyzing the data.
Ooh.
He's got the highlights. I don't think there's even highlights.
Where's the green, Nick? Go with the green.
There's no colors, so I'm having a lot of trouble.
I've got one more that I really want, and there's so many picks ahead of me right now. I'm like, God damn it, I don't know if it's gonna get back.
I gotta do it. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, naked breakup.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's too much for him to take in the moment. Obviously, that's not sinking in that he's naked.
I know what happens if I put my clothes back on. I know what happens. You'll leave and it's over. Just come here. Just let me hold you.
But because I got him from Costco, it's like the worst thing. So yeah, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, naked breakup scene. It's a horrible way. It's a horrible way to go down.
Again, just in front of one person, but it's the girl that you love. You know what I mean? Yeah. Fucking brutal. And I mean, it's you always hate crying in front of.
Just come back to that moment.
You always hate crying in front of somebody, but crying completely naked.
Well, that's the last two picks that you wonder, like, how many people got notified about this? How many people were told about it?
Was that on TMZ later?
All right, Nate, you're gonna get your final two picks here with the reach around 3 and 4.
All right. I'm going to go ahead with my third round. I'm going to take Superbad, Evan's Boob Punch.
So I love that, but I don't think that's the right pick from that movie, but that's fucking so funny.
I've been trying to
period.
That's not even the part I was thinking about, but that part's funny too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there are other ones, but for me,
you're talking about that.
Again, it involves kind of a crush, so it kind of involves
it's a crush, and it's in the middle of the hallway, so we don't know that anyone else saw it, but like, he's at least so he feels like very not just worried about punching her. He's like, who the fuck just saw this?
You also like feel him because he's so like cringy.
He feels
what's
so.
His name? Michael Cera.
He's
just so uncomfortable.
And he's trying. It was just a nice tap in the shoulder and gets bumped, and just it's the punch in the tit.
It's like a fucking right, fucking straight right to the titty.
That's a good one.
And then, I'm deciding if I'm gonna go with my heart here. I don't know. It doesn't matter either way. I always screw it up. I'm gonna go with "I Love You, Man," a different scene.
Okay, so what scene?
There are so many good ones for me where he just embarrasses himself, but the one where he calls him Jobin.
You're gonna go with your heart.
You're
going with your heart.
Because
I wrote Jobin before he even said it.
You got it.
He's going with Jobin scene. I know.
Jobin.
Did you just call me?
Did you
Jobin?
call me Jobin? Like, for some reason, for me, like saying words that
aren't
words, or that like trail off, and you're like so embarrassed by it.
I'm trying to play it off.
It feels so uncomfortable to me thinking about doing it that like. I don't know. I just it's one person and it's whatever, but you relive that moment and those words, and you want to grab them back, but you can't over and over again. It's just
almost all of yours, Nate. Like you go and like you're like walking home or whatever you're doing later. You're like laying in bed and you're like, "What are you fucking talking about? You fucking idiot!"
Terrible.
God damn it.
Yeah. I mean, I just So that for me, that's where it's at.
Latris on the Menjay.
I will see you then, or I will see you another time.
So wait,
confused.
are you going to see me?
All right, there you go.
All right, good stuff. Oh man,
Nick, don't steal my final pick because I would really, really, really.
I rarely steal your.
That's true. We're not necessarily always on the same wavelength there.
No.
Although I did.
Even though you did take mine.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm honing in on Wedding Crashers.
Okay.
And I got 2. And it's
Okay.
tough. Because one of them is just kills me every time, funny-wise. And it's got to be one of the most like embarrassing, awkward things.
I know which 2 scenes you're talking about, and they both involve Vince Vaughn. So I'm just deciding which one do you going to go with.
Yeah.
But those aren't my picks, so I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I don't think you're gonna pick the one that I'm gonna pick, and I got a good one.
Mine's a little off the radar, and I think it's a good one.
God, I hope it's not the one I'm thinking of.
It's probably not, because it's probably like...
What are you picking?
Mine's probably from Strange Brew.
Which scene are you picking?
You know what's embarrassing about that movie? That you like it.
Hey, you know who I'd be pandering to? Scotch Beck, who
That's true.
fucking loves that movie.
It's true.
I almost pandered with my last pick, and I decided not to because I'm not that kind of person. Brad,
Dude, so we need to like riff for a while because Nick is struggling over here.
this is like old times.
This is just like old times.
It's like the first 2-3 drafts we had.
I might leave this all in. I might not even cut it down.
Don't cut it. Don't even cut the blank spaces. I just it's making me feel so nostalgic right now.
A lot of nostalgia.
Watching Nick just hem and haw,
do
uncomfortably
like
quiet.
do like a heavy breath.
I mean, the dude does have a 33% win rate, so I mean, we can't question his abilities.
No,
All right. Okay, so I'm not going to go with the laugh. I'm going to go with the, oh my God, this is the most awkward situation. Christopher Walken, you know he notices. He doesn't say a damn thing. Vince Vaughn tied up in bed with his son underneath the covers. And Vince Vaughn just sitting there just when he walks in.
Tied up in the bed.
Talks about his son's night terrors that he used to have.
Todd.
I really want to know. That's a pretty good walk-in. The other one, I'm curious.
Well, oh yeah.
Oh, you don't know the other one? Okay. All right. Well, okay. So my next pick here, that's solid. And that's one of the ones one of the directions I thought you were going.
Okay.
Mine is coming from Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that How Do You Like Them Apples guy.
The guy in the bar when he clowns him so hard.
Straight up embarrassed. And you got to think he's in front of all his friends and they're all looking all macho as he fucking starts putting Ben Affleck in his place.
Good one.
But then as soon as Matt Damon comes in and starts fucking his world up, what do those guys all around him think after that? They're like, "Oh, you motherfucker, you just been like spewing like some bullshit. Like you're really not that smart." Like it questions all his own reality, all his friends around him. Like they're like, "Fuck, man, are we really just a bunch of dummies?"
And
like,
here's another level to this. Okay, so he's a grad student, right?
Yeah.
And we know Skylar is an undergrad, which means that they seem to sort of know each other, which means that like he was the like authority, maybe he was the TA in her class, maybe, you know, like he sort of somehow seemed like he was the cool authoritative person. And now not just to like a peer, but to like his undergrad. He looks like a total fucking idiot.
the most
he's no
amazing
longer
undress.
he no longer has this like level of like I'm powerful over you because I have all this knowledge. She just watched him get broken down, and so now
and then told like I'll beat your ass too.
and he'll get fucked up.
That's a pretty great pick. I mean, man.
It's a stretching embarrassing just a little bit because you don't like the guy.
So that's what I was just gonna say is like
He's definitely embarrassed.
if you
It's
liked him,
very
you would be-
embarrassing.
if you liked him, it would really be like a
Right,
huge
exactly,
one. And the
exactly.
fact that you
I'm
don't-
saying that's his friends around him, like because they're the one
and the
dude
girl
next
he's
to
trying to
him
hit
got
on.
his like arms folded as
Yeah.
as he's talking to Ben Affleck, like, "Ha, you fucking dummy little fucking townie," and then Damon comes through and just wrecks shop.
this is the ultimate challenge to like the definition, right? Which is this is when you don't feel cringy about it all because you're so happy.
Yes.
But if you were that guy,
You'd be
It's
embarrassed
fucking.
as fuck.
That's
horrific.
When we clarified earlier, you were saying
No. I think
that's
it's
what
a
I'm saying.
legit pick.
It's a
I'm
totally
just saying
legit
it
pick.
makes you question it because it's like, do I feel embarrassed? No, but if
But
you're that
that's-
guy,
that
you
was
feel
the whole
embarrassed as
point
fuck.
that
No,
was
I
made
agree. I
earlier.
agree.
Okay.
I think it's a good pick. I think it's a good
It's
pick.
a great pick. I just that it really.
It's not one I would have thought of though. I will tell you that.
Damn, that's good.
Okay, so I had one the whole time that I wanted to pick, and while we were sitting here waiting for Nick for about 18 minutes to decide what he was going to pick, I've decided what the final pick is. and I love this one, and it's so terrible. Again, happens in front of the whole school, and we're going.
Oh, you're not going with frailty with our boy acting?
You're going Carrie.
I am going. No, Carrie. No. That's embarrassing, but sad.
Embarrassing.
I'm going Dazed and Confused when our boy tries to go and stand up to the bully at the party at the Moon Tower.
Oh, jeez.
And he just fucking gets his ass whooped in front of everybody and has to get fucking pulled off by Pink and Matthew McConaughey.
He's like crying.
And he cries and runs away and fucking, I mean, dude, he's going to think about that forever. He's also, we've talked about it. I know what you're going to say. Like, it's cool that he tried to stand up for himself, but he gets his ass whooped by a guy that's not big.
But he says, he's like, I got some punches in, right? Like,
Yeah, and they're like, okay,
they kind of pump him up
he
a
did.
little
He
bit.
punches the guy one time and then gets his ass absolutely whooped.
I mean,
and
sucker punches him, to be fair.
They have, yeah, totally. That shit is just so embarrassing to me. Every time I watch it, I feel so bad for that fucking guy
That's a
because
good pick.
you're like rooting for him. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
oh yeah, that guy's a dick.
And him being like, I got some punches in right is clearly him trying to get somebody and himself to like talk himself out of the fact that he's so embarrassed.
Exactly.
Which is I think a good call. So, man, you know what? I went into this draft feeling like this was a thin category. Like I was like, man, I've
still got some also rants too.
And I do too. And I was also like, every pick you guys made that I hadn't thought of, I was like, oh damn, like that's a good one.
I've got also rants
It's a
from
thick
every
category.
movie that you guys picked too, and some that I picked because there was
No, I
like
know,
some
it's-
movies that are heavy on this shit. You know what I mean?
Yep. All right.
need
Well, I guess
again.
I guess we need to go find Scotty.
I'm Tawny Ray,
And I'm Felicia Connor.
and we are Two Chicks in a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast.
We are two horror-addicted best buds sharing our unedited, comical, no bullshit opinions on the horror flicks we love and hate.
And you can always expect some interesting movie trivia. We cuss a bunch, spoil the shit out of some movies, and drink a little whiskey.
You can find us on every social media platform and listen to us on your favorite podcatcher by searching Two Chicks in a Horror Flick.
And remember, no nightmares.
Bevermetrics, YouTube assist. Gonna point out all the shit that we missed. It's the draft judge, crushing dreams once again.
Ooh-wee.
That's what I'm talking about. It's the draft judge, the OG.
OG.
Feels good.
I
to
just
crush
want to
those
lick him.
dreams.
I just want to lick him right now.
So we didn't tell. We didn't.
He's all cakey.
We didn't tell you guys, but we had some cake left over from the 100th episode last week, and we were like, where should we put Scott? Stuffed him down in that fucking cake.
It's an orange cake, but it's not orange flavored.
Yeah, it's very odd.
And I popped out and I said, "Happy 100th to Bevs."
He had tassels on his puffy nipples. It was awesome.
It was beautiful, and he had sparklers in each hand. It was great.
And one in my ass.
Just like Erica Alanak in Under Siege.
Yeah, the sparkler in the ass scene with
Just
Erica,
like it.
which is amazing.
My boobs are the same size.
Shoot him off like a bottle rocket. All right, so we are back, and you have had a chance to evaluate just like the old days.
Oh man, yeah. I was a little stressed out because my computer decided to update literally right when he sent me the results. So
Probably just does that at midnight.
right. So yeah, you guys, you did okay. You did okay.
Ooh.
Just
Oh, that's kind of a
typical.
little bit of a cold.
Maybe a preview for also rans, I guess.
It's just it just makes sense why I have such a high winning percentage. I'll just put it at that point.
that
That's uncalled for.
low blow.
Just getting insulted by a guy with cake in his hair is fucking. It's just I don't know.
It makes it worse. It makes it worse. I'll be honest.
No, you guys definitely hit a lot of the ones I thought of, and then it'll be fun to do the also rounds at the end because there's definitely a few that I think that were left off that should have been on here. So,
Okay.
yeah, the biggest thing was, we talked about making sure it was an actual embarrassing moment, and there's a couple on here that I'm not sure if they really are as embarrassing as I would think they would be, but so I had some criteria that I broke this down to. So I had the Scotch Beck oh yeah factor. That was my just general, do I agree? Yes. Is that a great pick? I had the oh shit factor. I can't believe I didn't think of that, which was there's definitely a few in here I can't believe I didn't think of. So I was very impressed with a couple of those.
Now, does the aw shit factor involve shit at all?
No. Some
No.
of them might. It's all shit squared. If it's a shit one,
Well, actually, one of the ones actually did have shit in it.
I was gonna say aw shit,
Aw,
or
shit.
there should be maybe an I'm gonna come factor.
Right.
Scott. He cleaned the pipes.
Aw, nuts.
He cleaned the pipes while he was in the house.
That's what he calls it when he updates.
I used the YouTube assist on 2 of them, and I'll go into that later.
And that was just to see boobs, right?
Just to see some boobs.
He's like, I've never seen this obscure American Pie film. Let's see if I can pull this scene up.
Phoebe Katie's.
I have no clue what that is.
What could that be? I assigned a few points for reaching and stealing, if you got it in the right round, according to what I ranked them at. And then, can I get a witness? It's some bonus points if, depending on how many people saw the embarrassing act.
Okay.
So I needed some. So I just needed to add a little bit because a lot of the scores when I ranked them were really super close, and so I was like, I need some bonus points to kind of differentiate. So I go, you know what? What's more embarrassing than a fucking crowd of people seeing it, or at least a few people?
Because there were 2 picks I would have really killed on.
So and then just overall cringe. That's the word you hear all these days. But just like I'm picturing myself. And like, oh my God, like how would I react if I was in that, so just kind of another some bonus points for a cringe. So that's kind of where I went with. And in Bev's fashion, I'll read the scores first.
Okay.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to see Nick get last.
I got to manifest this.
From bottom to
Zach,
top.
I'm feeling you right now, Zach.
I know you are.
34 was last place.
Okay.
Pretty high
Joe,
last
Nick.
place.
Nice try.
37, 46,
Oh, a big jump.
51.
Okay.
Ooh, solid jump.
So yeah, there's a lot of points getting thrown around here. So with 4th place, with the 4th pick in the draft,
Whoa.
Team 4.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That makes
Team
sense.
4 includes
That makes
40-year-old virgin, bags of sand conversation, American Pie, shit brick or break, shitting himself in the ladies' room, Super Bad, Evan Boob Punch, and I Love You Man, Jobin, and Fish Tacos.
That's a murderer's row of humiliation.
I love all of those scenes, and I think all of those scenes are really funny. I just don't think any of them are like incredibly embarrassing.
That's
to me.
exactly
That's
what
my
I
problem
thought.
with it.
Yeah.
It's just like he punches her in the boob, like that stinks. He like doesn't. He tells some guys at work that he's never touched a boob, or like kind of embarrasses
That's
himself
not
talking about that.
embarrassing?
I mean, compared
It's
to freaking coming when you just touch a girl in front of the entire school.
That's
like,
the number 1 pick. It wasn't available.
I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying.
What do you want from him?
The most embarrassing one you picked was the shit break one because all the girls were in the bathroom, and that is embarrassing.
Jesus
Yep.
Christ. All right.
Yeah, and I did like that pick. That was one I didn't think of. I actually thought of American Pie movies actually had quite a few options.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but that was one I didn't have on my list, and I thought that was a good one for sure.
Nate, to be fair, out of the previous 20 drafts, 4th pick has only won 4 times. So that's only 1 out of 5. So the odds were not
against
in your favor.
Bullshit.
I love that I just changed my, I'm probably down to like 43% of getting last place in every draft now.
Hey, Brad, have I won on the 4th position?
Yes, you have.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So
Now I'm very interested here, like where this goes from here.
3rd place,
This is not. It's a little bit of a bump up. 34 to 37.
34 to 37.
Is it really going to go 4, 3, 2, 1?
That's how we do
Jesus.
Team 3.
Yeah.
3rd pick.
Wow. All right. There's something. Team 3 includes. There's something about Mary, Franks and Beans. Meet the Parents. Can You Milk Me? Forgetting Sarah Marshall. The Naked Breakup. And Wedding Crashers. Vince Vaughn tied up in bed with Christopher Walken.
And that was Nick?
Yep.
Okay.
3rd pick. Tough pick.
So
Never won from a draft, and that streak stays.
Nick's a bit rusty, I think.
Been away for a while.
Zach is just giddy.
It's only
he's so happy.
His
He
first
doesn't even
draft
care
in
at this
19.
point.
He's missed 19 drafts, so this is his first in 19.
So the Dick in the Zipper is the one of one in my opinion.
Ooh,
It's just based on my ranking and what I had down. Just because
That's what I
dang,
thought too.
There's
Yeah.
pain. There's pain involved. There's witnesses involved. There's police involved. There's firemen involved. There's all these
Unexpectedly.
witnesses. And so
I think it's a first-round pick, right? It's a legit
it's
first-round
absolutely-
pick. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, maybe not one of one. I mean, it definitely was in a good spot. So I like that one a lot. Greg milking the cat teats is just a great scene. Super awkward. Definitely not as good as some of the others in the second round. I think that was a reach.
Okay.
Sarah Marshall naked is an awkward scene.
I know.
I don't know if it's embarrassing. So
Well, because like I was like explaining, like he doesn't seem embarrassed about being naked. Like, yeah, he's
Right.
heartbroken.
right.
Does he think it's embarrassing after the fact? Sure. Are we embarrassed for him? I
Yeah.
don't know.
And that's where it comes down to. Are we embarrassed for him? Yes. Is he embarrassed? No.
So
And
I guess
that hurt.
the key for me would be if he had like a tiny penis and then he was crying and then he'd be way more embarrassed. We'd be way more embarrassed for him. But he's got a fucking rod on him, dude. And I'm like, it's
There's
all right.
nothing embarrassing about that.
Yeah,
Rob.
exactly.
Yeah. And then same thing. The wedding crash. Wedding crashers. The painting.
that's a good penis breakdown, Zach. I just got to give you props. That's a very nice breakdown.
Here's the thing about
Call it a rod.
the wedding crashers pick. He doesn't get really caught. Christopher Walken never realizes that he's tied up, doesn't really see anything. It was just kind of a weird thing.
But he does.
We kind of acknowledge that he kind of maybe
Yeah.
because he shakes the ropes at one point.
He grabs it just like sees how sturdy it is.
It's very odd.
It is very odd.
And it is left kind of obscure if you don't know
Yeah.
is he noticing or is he just kind of just being himself?
It was down to that,
Yeah.
or it was the under the table
Now,
handy
Vince.
during dinner. So
That's
it was
also
down
there
to
you go.
That was on my list.
Yeah.
That would have been a better pick.
Yeah.
The under the table shit?
The under the table shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
So okay.
Again, doesn't
We're
get caught though. It's not that embarrassing.
All right.
Truth. I mean, it should have got caught.
Isla Fisher.
In the movie, it doesn't happen.
Fisher's playing with your balls underneath the table. I think you're going to be okay.
All right.
So we're down
Second
to
place.
and this is a 5-point spread. It was 46-51.
It was 51-46. That's correct.
All right.
So second place. Going up the ladder, team 2.
I knew it.
Oh my God.
I figured this is what once you started talking about your criteria.
Once
I
you
thought that's what
said that the most people that see it, the
Yeah.
better, because
Team
that's what I
two.
based all of my picks off of.
Yep.
Team 2 included Swingers, Mikey Hits Redial, Bridesmaids, The Wedding Toasts, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Shirking It to Phoebe Cates, and Good Will Hunting. How do you like them apples get served?
Okay. So the answering machine, oh my God. That is just one where you feel just awful for him. And again, you can tell he feels embarrassed as well. And just
He's losing his
He's
mind.
losing his shit.
He keeps doubling down over and over.
It's so
He's
great.
Mikey, Double Down Mikey.
Yeah. So I like that pick a lot. It's just, it didn't rank as high as the first pick and then the Dick in the Zipper. The speech battle for Bridesmaids, which I actually still haven't seen that movie all the way through, but I've seen that scene. I watched that scene before this when I was kind of making my pre-rankings, and god dang, that's an awkward scene. That is just,
Y la escuelas.
dude. Yeah.
Maybe
And
is
you got a nice pick in the second round on that. That was really good.
it more or less embarrassing than when Melissa McCarthy shits in the sink in front of all those people in the fucking dress shop?
Doesn't everyone end up shitting though?
Yes, like they're
So,
all.
so
like,
this is my issue. So I thought about this.
It's shared embarrassment.
Exactly.
Oh,
So they
okay.
all
All right.
kind of, yeah. So
Okay,
I was
that's
like,
fair.
Yep. Okay. And then, so the Fast Times,
Look away.
the Fast Times shirking? Is that what you said?
We invented that last spot.
That's right. That's right. He is on the toilet. Okay. Yeah, classic scene. And again, but it's just, she's the only one that sees it. It is embarrassing. It did better. Actually, that won that round, but not enough. The How About Them Apples did not score very high.
Because you weren't thinking about it properly.
he explained it to us, and we agree that the embarrassed person is the guy from Harvard, right?
That's exactly what I was
He has
saying.
a full crew
Yeah.
behind him that's like all
Right.
like this is our dude.
Right.
And then as soon as Matt Damon shows up, he gets wrecked. And it's like, how do those people around him now all feel about him?
The problem is that he's the bad guy.
You're
and so
rooting
you
against
don't-
him.
The
The
problem
we
is
don't feel embarrassment.
The problem is I don't think he I think he's an elitist, self-entitled shithead, and probably doesn't feel at all embarrassed. He's like, whatever. What does he know? He's such a dick that it probably didn't
townies.
affect him as much.
So I have this this is going to be my counter argument to a couple of, I think, also rans that I almost picked, and I'm going to be a rage when I'm told that those would have won the pictograph for me.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he not only he had an undergrad and Minnie Driver who saw him like get embarrassed. She's like, oh, that fucking guy doesn't know shit.
Don't steal my argument.
I'm stealing your argument. I'm using your points for you. And and he also, like, he has those people around him. They're all thinking he's the man, and they see him get completely destroyed.
Right.
So as much as he thinks it, he's embarrassed.
Right. Well,
even when he looks out the window, he's like,
Nick, grab the grenadine and give it to Brad.
No, I don't get grenadine. I get more than one opinion, and I get 0 grenadine.
All right. Tell you what, Brad.
Nick, you know this.
Brad, I'm going to give you 4 bonus points.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Thank you.
You lose 51 to 50.
I love that.
51-50. Okay.
Okay.
Team one.
You did make some good arguments. I honestly,
I thought I had the steal of the draft with that last pick. I thought I was very creative.
2023.
I thought it was
that's silly.
amazing embarrassment.
2023 is going to be a good year, boys.
All right. 2023.
2 for 2, baby.
This guy won a speed draft, which doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
And
Counts
his
for 2.
team one included American Pie, Jim Comes Too Soon,
Ultimate.
A Star Is Born, Bradley Cooper pisses himself at the Grammys.
Jesus Christ.
Amazing pick.
I Love You Man, Paul Rudd pukes on the poker game.
Yep.
And Dazed and Confused, Adam Goldberg fights and cries at the party.
I went with 1 or 2 funny ones and some sad ones. But just as
Bradley
embarrassing.
Cooper one was
Okay.
unbelievable.
So Jim premature ejaculation is a great pick. I mean, I was surprised that the apple pie wasn't picked.
Only
That
his
was
dad
my-
finds the apple pie.
Exactly.
So the whole school sees him go to it.
100%.
Yeah.
Doesn't the dad walk in on
Scotch
him?
walked
Right.
it.
Yeah.
He watched it on the fake internet when he was a young man back in the day.
We were discussing whether or not the internet actually had the capability to do that in
A
1996.
full video stream
that
around
thing?
the world.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, no, the fact that everybody saw it and people are dancing and whatever. So yeah, that's a great pick at number 1. The Star Is Born pick was a great pick that was the 8th pick of the draft. So good. I didn't even think of it, and the minute I saw it, I just thought, oh man, that was an awkward, shitty moment in front of the world. At the award show
During his wife's moment.
Oh my god!
Did they zoom in on his crotch?
They do. It shows the pee going on his freaking pants, dude. It's so brutal.
Have you not seen it?
I've never watched that.
Oh, my God.
dude, you
It's
have
so
to watch it, Brad. It's really good.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen until Nate sucks up for the pod.
He knows Nate likes it. That's why he's like, I will never watch that.
So
movie.
I Love You, Man. I Love You, Man. I've mentioned before. It's not a movie I've seen one time, and I need to watch it again. And I rewatched it. It was one of my.
Did you
YouTube
say I've
assists.
not seen it one time?
I've seen it one time.
Oh,
It's so
okay.
good.
And
Watch
so-
it with your lady friend.
Okay,
It's
I will.
so good, dude.
Yeah. But that scene was fantastic and awkward because he's just trying to fit in. He's trying to be one of the boys, and
He wins and then he loses.
Yeah.
Projectile vomit.
Yeah, and the whole poker scene, and just leading up to that, and Favreau was such a jerk, and so that was a nice pick. And then the Dazed and Confused fight. I mean,
Shit, right?
Huh?
Absolute shit.
it was a good pick. I like that pick a
So
lot.
embarrassing, dude.
It's not. He stood up to a bully.
He stood up to him
And got his ass whooped.
and then got his ass whooped
And cried.
and cried after he was
ran
done.
away.
And everybody saw it. Everybody at the party saw
Everybody saw it.
it. He literally threw one punch and then looked around and then just got his ass whooped and then started crying.
I agree that it's cool that he stood up for himself, but
You said
there's
that, yeah.
no way he is not embarrassed as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyway, that's the final.
I just want to thank you, Scott Beck, for picking me as the winner 2 times in a row. And you're a beautiful, beautiful man with a beautiful beard.
Thank you, buddy.
I love you. Thank you.
I love you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh.
Nick, I'm glad you came back to get your fucking ass kicked one more time. Thanks for coming back to the pod, dude.
Now get the fuck out.
Hey, he has 6 wins. Oh no, 4 wins. You have 5 wins.
I have 2
No, you have-
wins
so
in
you have
2023.
six?
You
Yeah.
have 6 wins.
Well,
I have-
2023 has 1 win.
He has 1 win in 2023.
Coming for ya.
Nick
Wait a
has-
minute.
For ya.
Is Zach leading
winning.
right now.
Not only
is
leading,
winning.
I won the speed draft and I won this draft, and I'm gonna win the next draft because I'm fucking on a roll, baby. I'm feeling
You and
the
Scott
shit.
need to stop hanging out and golfing or whatever the fuck you all do.
Yeah, what does golfing consist of?
Yeah, it's just me and Scott talking about
Golfing.
movies that we like and
Swinging and
yeah, swinging.
More
Bunch of swinging balls.
All right, I'm ready for some also
grabbing a lot of
rans.
shafts.
Are we
All
ready?
right. I think we need to talk about some.
So I think the key
Hey.
also ran.
How about you wait for that,
Fucking Brad.
you asshole?
How the fuck could we miss that one? I just don't understand. It's our also ran. You idiots.
Scott's brother at the end telling us what it is. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I think the key one is there's so many in American Pie, and I think that we talked about it already. The pie scene, right? Like
I think Socks is more the Sock watching the scrambled porn.
Oh, when his mom comes in,
I think that might be worse than the pie.
Because he and his dad have that rapport.
They have a moment, yeah,
where they're like he's not going to be that embarrassed in front of his dad because his dad's always trying to talk about that shit with him. And his dad's trying to be cool about it. His mom is like losing it.
I think what we've learned here today is that it's just embarrassing to get caught jerking off no matter what the scenario is. Like that's just like an embarrassing thing that's a private personal thing that you do while you're sitting on the toilet. And it just sucks to get caught, right?
It's a natural thing. Everybody should do it.
Yeah.
But you just don't want to get caught.
Cleaning the pipes.
All right, so Scott, give us the like 2 or 3 or were there any that you thought like definitely should have been drafted that weren't?
So there's one that I was really surprised because I know you guys are big fans of Borat, and there's the dinner scene with Borat was something that I watched a clip of that, and that was just
it's
super
on my
awkward.
list. And so the weird thing about that is,
look at
and you know
Borat
what? I almost texted you guys because I was like, how does this fit in? Because it's reality. It's not necessarily like it's real embarrassment.
Right.
It's
when
not.
when he brings the hooker to dinner, is that what we're talking
Well, just
about?
when he's like, the guy says, "Oh yeah, I'm retired." And he's like, "You're," and he starts going off on what he thinks he says, and it gets a little bit awkward.
yeah.
And so he keeps saying, it's very nice that you bring him to the table. And they're like, no, that's not what we said. He's retired. And like, so they play off that, and it's super uncomfortable.
Right.
But it's real. It's not.
That's a
it's
good
not
point.
fake.
Good point. Again, I haven't actually seen the movie, so I forget that it's actually real. I don't like Borat. I don't like that comedy. It's not my thing.
Lord.
You haven't seen it, so you don't know if you like it or not. It's fucking spectacular.
I nearly had a heart attack when they start wrestling and they're running through the
the
conference
theater
center.
I've seen
went
that.
They're naked.
absolutely nuts when they
I was
fucking
like
start wrestling naked.
convulsing,
It
like
went crazy,
laughing
dude.
in the theater. It was
Okay.
oh my god.
So you guys got most of like the top picks or whatever, but one that I thought of was We're Going Streaking in Old School with Will Ferrell coming out there naked in front of everybody and then getting caught by
that nobody goes with him.
Yeah, nobody goes with him. He's running down the street and the wives come pulling up and then he's climbing in the car.
Definitely embarrassing to get caught by your wife,
Right.
fucked up and running down the
I feel like the trank scene is maybe even worse though. Like when he's at the birthday
That's a
party.
good one, too.
Like, and he goes,
So my problem here, and this is going to be the theme, right? But like, there's no way he's embarrassed. He's too oblivious to be embarrassed.
yeah.
So like, I think he as the character.
How about when he sobered up though?
he seems
thinking
like
back?
he's like not super like
Yeah.
he doesn't he's not a thinker back. And so I have the 2 that I almost picked, and I was going to one of these would be a full pander. Spinal Tap, Stonehenge is Tiny.
I had that.
It's on my list.
That's on my list.
So I
too.
thought hard about that one, and it would have scored well maybe because a lot of people saw it. The problem is they're oblivious too. Like
no, they're hella embarrassed.
They're embarrassed.
They lose their minds backstage, like afterwards.
Yeah, it causes a rift in the band.
But
Yeah.
but just being dumb isn't as embarrassing as we think.
Because she wrote it and she put.
He wrote it down and he wrote inches instead of feet.
I thought she wrote it down for them. She was managing.
No, he drew the picture. He gave it to Ian, and then
they're mad, but are they like humiliated?
He didn't mean to make it inches. He just screwed up. He's just an idiot. But then the other guys were mad when they saw it.
Yeah.
So Zoolander, he gives a whole like speech for an award he didn't win.
Oh, that is embarrassing.
That
That's a
was pretty
one.
good. The model of the year.
I didn't
he goes
think about
walking
that.
up. That's a
Except-
solid
And they
one.
didn't say his name.
Except like again, he's
Hansel.
kind of like he's so self-absorbed. I'm like, are you capable of embarrassment? So those were the two that I was like, maybe these win it for me.
I don't think either of those win it for you, but I like those better
Right.
than one of the picks that you did. But I think the key here is that nobody picked Josie Grossi from.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Because, dude, that was going to be my last pick the whole time before I
Yeah.
thought of the Days of Confused ones. Because when she thinks she's going to the prom with that dude and opens the door and they fucking egg her on her front porch, is the most embarrassing, uncomfortable fuck.
But everybody
scene
there that witnesses
ever.
it is like, it's not embarrassing. They're just
But
like,
as a viewer and as for
Yeah.
her, like it's just the
it
worst
sucks
thing
for
that could
her,
ever happen.
100%.
Yeah.
How about Daniel LaRusso at the country club?
Oh my god.
Spaghetti
good one.
in front of all the rich fucks at the country club.
That's a good one. That was
pretty
Runs out there
solid.
like a little bitch. Daniel.
What about, I have one here, the Romeo and Michelle. When they say that they
scene?
invented Post-its
Oh,
and then they get fucking called out, like they realize that they didn't actually invent Post-its and they get like clowned in front of the entire reunion.
that's super
Yep.
embarrassing.
Yep.
I'm with you, dude.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Yep.
So Paul Rudd walking in on basically his wife and all the women talking about
Yeah.
how he doesn't have like
Any friends.
And
Yeah.
basically, they call him a fucking weirdo.
Well, and then like
and how the environment when he walks in, how nobody
Yes.
acknowledges it, and he kind of like soft talks it through, gives him the hot chocolate, leaves, and then it just sinks in like, oh,
yeah, that one I almost picked
that
that
was
one.
brutal.
they're like, "Are these chocolate straws?"
yeah, yeah.
They try to like make him feel better.
So nice.
What about our boy Billy P in True Lies? When after he gets caught almost fucking Jamie Lee Curtis, and they have him like over the cliff and he starts spilling his guts. I got a little dick. It's hella embarrassing. And then he pees himself. What kind of man would piss himself or would wet himself? He's just going nuts and he's giving all his worst secrets. And it's just straight up embarrassing. And then
That's pretty good.
they just let him go. He's like, "You're gonna shoot me in the back."
Shout out to Bill Paxton.
Yep.
Our boy Billy P.
Here's one that I thought Zach might pick. Carrie.
So
Pink
Nick
Book.
said
talked
that
about it.
actually.
Oh, did he?
I thought he
came
was
up.
getting ready to pick it.
Okay.
I mean, that's a brutal one.
Yeah, definitely different. Embarrassing, and then she.
Yeah, I mean, she gets her
revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are two the similar ones here. Showing up at a party with the costume that's the wrong costume for the party.
Oh, okay.
Bridget Jones.
So actually the three then. Bridget Jones, Legally Blonde. She shows up in a bunny costume to a party that's not supposed to
Be like Playboy bunnies.
I think she shows up in a Playboy bunny and it's like not that kind of. I forget what it is, but and then there's one that's kind of a sneaky one. That awkward moment. Zac Efron shows up as Rock Out with Your Cock Out, and he's a rocker and he has a big dildo hanging out of his pants.
Heard of that movie?
To his girlfriend's like party that's like a dress up fancy party, and then like meets her parents.
How is he confused though? Like why?
I think she says like, "You want to come? I'm having like kind of a dress up party," and he's like, "Okay, cool." And he thinks it's a costume party, but it's like a cocktail
Dress up.
party.
Got it.
And the only my counter to this is like it would be super embarrassing and humiliating, except he just rolls with it so well.
He's Zac Efron. He's like, "Fuck y'all."
Yeah, but I that movie, if you haven't seen it, it's a really good one.
So this is one that it's kind of heartbreaking and it hurts. And I think the embarrassment, I maybe should have went with it. Mrs. Doubtfire, after he gives the Heimlich maneuver, after he starts choking on the spicy shrimp because
They find out.
he's going back and forth between like the business meeting and like he's playing back. He has lipstick on at one point and like it's all funny. And then he's doing the Heimlich and his fucking face starts falling off and everybody realizes at the party there, like his kids, his wife, everybody. And then immediately after that, he fucking loses his kids in court.
Right.
And it's just like,
So do we say it was embarrassing, not like
Incredibly sad.
incredibly suicidal?
I mean, you got to feel pretty embarrassed if you've been trying to like do this whole thing and all of a sudden you get caught right in the
Right.
fucking middle of a restaurant with everybody, including your wife's fucking new boyfriend.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So fun. So that was embarrassing.
Nick, go ahead.
So I thought you were going to mention this one too, Nate, as far as coming dressing up to the wrong party. So Super Troopers, when they say let's meet in the restaurant and we'll dress up as bikers.
Oh man, that's a good one.
And
Dude.
he
They're
shows up
showing
wearing the
bicyclists.
bicycle.
Yeah.
He's like- and immediately it hits him.
I'm an idiot.
Bikers.
That's great.
But he does
So
kind of play it off pretty
He does.
quick.
He plays it off good. And then awkward, embarrassing moment. Pineapple Express, the dinner table when he shows up dirty, bleeding to Amanda Heard's parents at dinner.
Yeah.
Hi.
She's like a sophomore in high school.
So a few more from American Pie series. So Stifler drinking the pale ale, which everybody knows he does it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the pale ale, and then in American Pie 2, there's a couple. Stifler gets peed on.
Oh yeah, it's the golden shower.
The golden shower, and then Jim super glues his dick to his hand, and he ends up on the roof. And then the cops show up, and he's like, "I'm glued. I'm glued."
There's a movie called. Have you guys seen Love, Simon? Any of you?
Never heard of it.
Kind of like it's a like a teenager kind of rom-com, and there's one scene where this guy, I think he dressed up in a mascot costume and like does this whole thing, and then asks this chick to go to the dance with him, and she's like, "No, I don't feel," in front of the entire like football
crowd.
stadium.
Yeah, like a football.
And she's
game.
like, "Yeah, I don't feel that way about you." It's horrifically embarrassing.
So one thing we really haven't talked about too much is like, so we're mostly like, it's like one person is embarrassed or whatever, but somebody else can be embarrassed with them. And so there's a couple that I think of with that, which is one, Harry Met Sally, the fake orgasm. So he's embarrassed. She's not embarrassed at all because she's doing the whole thing, and he would be embarrassed sitting with her.
Yeah.
But all the people around,
And all the people around are probably embarrassed or whatever. So that was something else I thought of. And then another one's kind of similar to that with somebody else being embarrassed is Mike Yanagita in Fargo when he meets.
Oh gosh, he tries to hit on her, and
Yeah.
then eventually he starts like, "My wife died." Like at first he's like,
he's
"Oh,
telling
she's
stories. It's all bullshit,
Yeah,
too.
he's kind of bullshit, and then finally he's like, "Yeah, my wife actually had cancer, and-
Leukemia.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So.
And then he starts fucking crying and like just gets into like, oh,
Super awkward.
oh.
But that's kind of more cringy towards the situation, but she's probably super embarrassed. So anyway.
Zach, I'm surprised you didn't go towards. I actually kind of like investigated a little bit. Was like, there's got to be some embarrassing like deaths in horror movies or something like that. And the one that I came up with is in Maximum Overdrive. I think it's Stephen King did it, but it's when the machines start like going against people, and the coach of like the little league team goes over to get sodas out of the machine. And that fucking machine's possessed, and it starts kicking out sodas, and he fucking takes them just all over his body and fucking gets killed by this soda cans shooting out of this machine. And it fucking kills him.
That is Stephen King. I haven't seen that.
It's very hard to be embarrassed when you're dead.
I'm saying that would be an embarrassing death. Everybody talking about, how did he die? Oh, he fucking the cans shot out of the machine and killed him. Like, that'd be fucking hell embarrassing.
He's like, "I died that way."
No, I'm not saying he has to be embarrassed. That's just an embarrassing way to die. Like, come on, there's embarrassment in that, right?
There's some existential questions here.
Jesus.
So from one of our previous episodes, Crazy Stupid Love, the babysitter takes the nude photos, and her dad ends up seeing it.
That is a good one.
That's at the very end. Yeah, that would have been a good one.
That's a toughie.
In Game Over, man, when Jillian poops her pants and the terrorist is like, and she pooped her pants, and she's like, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't."
She goes waddling off.
Yeah, you did. You pooped your pants. Get the fuck out of here. And she's like denies. And then finally she has to leave, and she's fucking obviously shit herself.
Strange Brew, Scotch. Get out of here before I put the two of you in a bottle. They got embarrassed right there in front of everybody.
They're trying to bring the fake the beer.
They're trying to get their free beer, and he grabs them both by and everybody starts laughing in the fucking store. So
That's right.
That's semi embarrassing.
Here's an old one. Hot Lips Houlihan in the shower in MASH, the original MASH movie. You guys ever seen that MASH movie?
No.
So
Old man.
before the series, and so this is for the older listeners, obviously, because you guys are just looking at me. But anyway, so she's like the main kind of chick that's always a problem, whatever. And they end up, she goes to take a shower, and they rig it to where they're all sitting out there, and they hit a thing, and the whole tent comes up, and she's naked, and she hits the ground, and like they're all laughing at her and anything. So
She probably
Real
looks
embarrassing.
pretty good though.
she looked pretty good. Sally Kellerman.
So maybe not
She's
that
like,
embarrassed.
Bunch of guys on an army base that haven't seen a naked woman in fucking super long. I bet they were real embarrassed.
Nate, back to you on are they too like dumb to realize that they should be embarrassed? Billy Madison on the quiz show. where he gives that stupid
is the
response.
dumbest fucking response.
and that guy gives the most like legitimate like just breakdown of him.
We are all dumber for listening to it.
Yeah, Billy Madison's way too lacks the self-awareness.
Can't be embarrassed if you're stupid.
I guess
it's a lot tougher anyways. It's a lot tougher. Those are the people that fight when they get embarrassed, the stupid people.
Is that it?
I feel like this whole thing's rigged.
I think there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more that we're not thinking of. People are going to come up with them. There's a lot more drunken, embarrassing scenes. There's a lot more, finding you naked or masturbating or whatever scenes that we're not thinking of. They're out there.
Jason Whitehead's going to go on Facebook and tell us about 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
I will say this puts first pick back in the lead. So first pick, 8.
Let's go.
8 of the 21 drafts have been won from the first pick.
So what I want to know is, for my rap picks, what are the picks that I clearly should have taken? Because I believe that in my picks, there were not picks available that I should have taken instead of this.
I think you should have taken
every
different
pick after your pick should have been your pick there on every pick.
I literally,
every turn.
I think that's insanity.
At every time you had a pick,
I also
anything that got picked after it should have been your pick.
I was on pick 2. I was deciding between Bridesmaids and Swingers, and I was like, I'm going to take Swingers. There's no way Bridesmaids coming back.
Yeah,
I was surprised that came back to me.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, my body is ready for sleep. What are we doing next week?
Next week, I think we might be having, and this goes back to, last week we had our great BVK release party. And a year previous to that, we had a BVK release party where we awarded a free come on and participate in our pod contest.
A year ago. And you know what? We are people who fulfill our debts. We're cashing that ticket, son.
So our boy Greg is going to come on to the pod, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the movie Coming to America.
Love it.
Which these guys are excited about. I've never seen, so
Never seen it.
let's see how it goes.
I'm not surprised.
I do like me some Eddie Murphy, though.
It is a classic, and you're in for a treat. So here we go. Coming to America, coming next week.
Thank everybody for being here. Nate, glad you're back. Nick, I love you, man.
Come back soon, Nick.
Nice win.
Nick, it was
Rotate
Happy
on in.
100,
brother.
Bevs.
101 in the can.
I love you guys. Bye-bye.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies. Just a blind by, no reason why. I love this scene. It's got Zach and Brad, your favorite podcast. The stars.